Hello, I'm Jean Pesce, a student at the University of South Carolina in the Master of Education in Educational Technology program. As I come to the close of my studies here, I would like to share some of the work I've done in the portfolio I have for you here. Before I do that, I would like to tell you a little bit about my background and how I came to be in this program.
In case you haven't seen this yet, it's the homepage from my website, Pesce Place, an Essential Fabrication. The beautiful tapestry shown here is an example of the types of textiles that have inspired my life. After high school, I studied apparel design and construction, which I thoroughly enjoyed. However, I decided to then share these skills with others by becoming a teacher as well. To be an effective teacher, I think it is really important to learn contemporary methods. Therefore, I decided to study educational technology. One of the most interesting aspects of this was learning with the same tools that my students will be learning. Here on my portfolio page are some examples of the work I've accomplished in studying educational technology. The diagram seen here represents my concept of how learning in educational technology developed for me, as described in my closing reflection. Beginning at the center, each successive layer added another dimension to the necessary considerations of professional instructional design. I view these layers as follows. First, pedagogy, the intricacies of how to most effectively help people learn. Then place, the concerns of accessibility or providing learning regardless of location. Next, provisions, instructional accommodations provided to ease and or enhance usability and therefore learning, followed by production, contemporary digital means of creating or providing engaging and interactive instructional tools, and finally publication, providing widely available educational materials at the least expense and effort to the user. This is how I've also organized my artifacts of this progressive learning in the pages below. Let me show you some of my new skills by discussing a few examples of this learning. In first considering pedagogical studies addressed in artifact number 2, you can see that this research paper was a collaborative effort to study what motivates learners to sustain engagement in online learning experiences. We found motivation became more intrinsic as familiarity with the instructional material increased. As noted, there are limitations here, as this was not a true scientific experiment. It might also be noted that the closing line is as much about our own learning as that of the students observed. In considering my learning about place, we can look at artifact number 3, the slideshow. This discussed my views on distance learning research studies conducted in our classes. This topic touches upon subjects such as legal issues of access, technical limitations, social connections, regulation, and accreditation, all necessary considerations of instructional design as they would be for any industry. I learned provisions for specific instruction must be determined before proceeding. Here, for artifact number 4, you will see a set of surveys used for my internship project for Schofield Middle School, SMS. The intent of the opinion survey was to identify the needs of staff members, particularly newcomers, in becoming acclimated to our workplace. The second was used to evaluate the effectiveness of my project in meeting those needs. These were available both digitally and in print, as you can see here and on my wiki page, to accommodate individual preferences and technical availability. In learning how to organize an instructional design project, it became evident how important both a contract and a storyboard are to the process. I see the contract as a bridge between the actual production work and the previous provision stage. As seen here, contract, drawn up for my internship project, delineated the following for both the design team and the stakeholders: the desired objectives, the intended design, personnel will be involved, anticipated difficulties, means of assessment, and the anticipated schedule for each stage of the project. The storyboard likewise provides specific information for all parties on the who, the what, where, when, and how concerns of the products and production process of the whole project. Here in Artifact 5 are some products that resulted from the production stage of my internship. These address the principles of universal design for learning by providing instruction that facilitates learning, by offering multiple means of representation to the audience, and accommodating various learning preferences. My intention was to provide products that were engaging as well as educational. This then led to the last consideration of publication. Both digital products and their publications should meet acceptable professional protocol standards developed as a community by the World Wide Web Consortium, or W3C. These standards are a kind of international language for designers to use in order to provide digital media that is universally intuitive and user-friendly. I am now aware that as digital devices evolve, so do these standards, and suggesting best practices for me to follow. At the end of my formal studies in educational technology is this recent instructional presentation unit for Artifact 9. Seen here from my projects page is an example of a current publication trend in offering cloud-based digital products that everyone can use. I personally own none of the tools used to create this, and yet I was able to share it with everyone. My students can access this from remote locations as often as they wish, and even after leaving my class. As you can see, it's quite interactive. This brings me back to why I have toiled long and hard in understanding this technology in the first place. I now feel confident in providing instruction for my apparel design students that will carry them forward as not just creative and talented individuals, but as independent, self-motivated professionals.
In closing, I'd like to say that I hope you enjoyed looking at my products. I hope they inspired some people to maybe get into this field themselves if they aren't already in it. And I would like to thank you very much for visiting. Feel welcome to contact me and let me know your thoughts. Thank you and goodbye.